we are lucky enough to have Sika Henry on the show. Sika, it's great to see you. How are you doing from your home base there in Virginia?
I'm doing pretty well. It's crazy seeing that video actually because it was just last year and so much has happened since then.
Oh, for sure. So much has happened. That's a great way to just kind of dive in. What does it look like? Because that was a nice snapshot of beautiful training, your coaches, your colleagues. Now, what's it like? What's the training journey, the work journey, all that stuff for you today?
Yeah, well, the pools just opened about 2 weeks ago, so I'm finally back to swimming. And we can only swim in our own lanes at designated times, so it's still quite different. I just started going on group rides again with just a small group of us. There's only about five of us, and I've just been kind of running on my own. So, yeah, a lot of solo training.
So, Sika, I just have to interject before I get to my next question. Hearing you're from Upper Montclair, New Jersey, I'm a fellow Jersey girl. I'm from Short Hills, New Jersey. So, Jersey girls
Yep.
all the way. But
Yeah.
want to ask you a little bit. You mentioned that so much has happened in the last year, and particularly in your journey to becoming our sport's first female African American pro. Walk us through what that journey has been like and some of the setbacks you've had and some of the things you've had to overcome.
Yeah, so unfortunately, not too long after that video was shot, I flew down to Ironman 70.3 Texas in Galveston in April last year, and I was one of the last waves to go off. It was age group wave start, and I crashed. I had a horrific crash. I don't remember much of it. I woke up in the hospital hours later. I had broken my nose, my mouth. I had about 40 stitches to my face, and it was pretty bad. So I actually had to fly up to New York and stay with my family for a few weeks. They took care of me. And then I actually got back to training as soon as I was cleared. So I did, I guess, 2 months after that crash, I did a small local race and I won it. So I was really happy about that. Then I flew to Augusta in September and I still wanted to get my pro card, even though I was recovering. And I came in, I think, sixth amateur there. So I missed my pro card by about like 3 minutes. And then 2 weeks later, I actually competed in Kona at the Ironman World Championships.
Oh, wow. I'm impressed. The first thing I thought when you described that crash was how hard was it to get back on, but good for you. 2 months. Amazing. Tell us about the courage it took to jump back.
It took a lot. So, because I don't really remember much, I thought when I woke up in the hospital, I had been in a car accident. So, I never really associated it with the bike, which is a little weird. So, I was actually nervous to drive again, not really ride a bike. So, I think that was a blessing in disguise. It was hard. It was probably tougher on my family, to be honest with you. My parents seeing me in that condition, and then me saying, "Oh, I want to get back out there and I want to go to Kona and stuff like that." They're initially like, "Oh my gosh, I don't think we want you doing this anymore." So I think it was hard for them, but I had a lot of great support. HOKA was awesome in supporting me on my journey back, and Zoot has been phenomenal in terms of, like making sure I have the right kit and everything else. So I've just received a lot of support.
That's so great. We always say it takes a village. Each and every one of us have a great village around us, and it sounds like you have an extraordinary one as well. Fast forward to the end of 2019 and into 2020, obviously dealing with a global pandemic. How have you adapted your racing goals? You're right on the cusp of getting that pro card, having to move that goalpost a little bit. How do you deal with that mentally and emotionally?
I think because I went through so much last year that this isn't that bad. I'm like, I'd rather just be kind of quarantined at home versus nursing serious injuries. So I just try to keep things in perspective. I'm hoping that this too shall pass. And I think we're really lucky that we live somewhere where we can still go outside and we can still work out. And, a lot of my goals now have just been pushed forward another year, similar to last year. So just try to stay positive.
That's great. Real practical, great things you just said and shared there. So final question. Just you're a great runner. You represent HOKA. You're known for kind of working people over on that run. Tell us just some advice for people that want to bump up to the next level in their Ironman racing, in particular with the run.
Yeah, I think just be patient. So when I get out the water, I'm usually last. And my parents are like, okay. But then they say, they're like, we don't freak out because we know as the race goes on, you're very patient and you're smart about like nutrition and stuff like that. So I just try to stay in the moment instead of, thinking like on the swim, already thinking about the run. It's just such a long race. And the longer it goes, like, versus sprint, Olympic, half Ironman, I think that's what I do better in the longer races, because you can better pace yourself. So I just try to think in the moment instead of, oh my gosh, I'm in 200th place right now and I need to get top 10. Hopefully that's decent advice. I don't know.
I think it's fantastic advice. I think patience is amazing virtue, and I think you've shared some pearls of wisdom there, Sika. So thank you so much. We sure appreciate you being here. It's great to see you. Keep the journey going. Stay strong, and we will hopefully catch up with you again real soon.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for having me.